Hi, I'm Dan Collins, a Sacramento, California licensed real estate broker, and I serve as a referee in partition actions. My expertise is in real property matters, including brokerage sales involving probates and trusts. I'm also a California licensed general contractor, and I act as a court-appointed receiver administrator for the Superior Court. If you have found yourself tasked with being an executor, administering a probate, or a trustee in an estate, I can help you effectively execute your duties that attorneys do not help you with. To learn more, please visit my website, collinsfiduciarybroker.com. Today, I want to talk with you about what to do when you need to protect real property, typically a house or a condo, where someone is still living. Elderly people who aren't incapacitated, but who need to be supervised, living in their home, usually one that is paid for with no mortgage, with a caretaker or a caregiver, turns out to be a good compromise for them. But problems occur because in such cases where the elderly have live-in help because there is hardly ever a rental agreement, and getting the caretakers out of the house after they die, if they're not willing to leave on their own, will often require an unlawful detainer, also known as an eviction proceeding. So what happens when you are the executor or the personal representative or trustee of an estate that has as its main asset a house that a caretaker, whether a family member or an unrelated person, is still living in? Although it seems unfair and unjust in situations where someone is living in a house of a decedent and was there at the request of that person before they died, getting them out often poses problems. Unless and until you have legal standing to remove someone from a property, they have rights that will be protected. In California, a person who resides in a legally designated housing unit for 10 days or more consecutively is legally afforded rights of tenancy. Note that getting an unlawful detainer when there is no rental agreement will take even more time and expense than usual. At minimum, getting someone to leave a house who is living there to take care of a person who has since died will take a minimum of 60 days' notice for them to quit the property. If they don't quit the property, you can hire an attorney and file an unlawful detainer action, but that will also take time. In the meantime, you will probably be sitting there watching the house get pilfered, personal property being taken out and sold, as well as people going in and trashing the house. Realistically, you should expect to have the property tied up in tenancy for 4 to 6 months before you obtain a judgment from the court for eviction. And if the tenant is responsive to the unlawful detainer court petition filings, it could take a year or more to legally evict an unwanted tenant. The process of removing unwanted tenants requires expertise. If you make mistakes in the eviction process, you may have to start all over again from step one. I highly recommend that you employ professional real estate managers, such as myself, and attorneys who specialize in residential or commercial evictions to remove unwanted tenants. Evicting unwanted tenants will be incredibly frustrating, and the practical reality is there isn't anything you can do but execute the necessary steps until the court issues a judgment in your favor to receive possession of your property. If the property is in a trust, or if the property has a transfer on death status and will not go through probate, a trustee or a beneficiary can request that anyone still living there vacate the house, but proper notice would still need to be given. Locking down the assets of an estate while beneficiaries have ready access to those assets is a certain recipe for abuse. Bad things can happen and usually do. If all the above sounds bleak, unfortunately, there is little that can be done to change it. That said, it may help to at least know what you are likely to encounter. My name is Dan Collins. I act as a fiduciary broker in probates and trusts that involve real property assets. To learn more, please visit my website, collinsfiduciarybroker.com. Thank you for joining me today.